Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Big Donch Show. Today, we have another boxer interview. I'm joined by George Acosta. He's a professional boxer and goes by the name Yuyu. I'm excited about this one because I've been following him on YouTube for a while. I remember watching his videos when I first started boxing, so I appreciate you, George, for doing this today.
Yeah, of course, man. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I've heard that a lot about, people start finding me on YouTube, even professional boxers at the gym sometimes. I was helping a fighter get ready for a fight not too long ago, probably like last month, 3 weeks ago. And he's like, "Hey man, I was looking at YouTube videos for boxing nutrition, and then you popped up." And I'm like, "Yeah, I like making those videos."
Yeah. Well, when I first started, I would just look up like, defensive boxing drills, combo. You were a guy who always popped up and I was like, I just familiar with us. So I was like, I want to get you on, interview you. And then I found out you're also a professional boxer. You do a bunch of other stuff as well too. But you know, before we start though, I just wanted to shout you out. Here's another reason why I wanted to bring you on for the interview was, you started that GoFundMe for your former opponent, Eddie Valencia. I just I also saw they were doing a fundraising boxing class for suicide prevention on October 29th. So I just really think that was cool. I just wanted to shout you out for that. I really appreciate, respect everything that you're doing with that. If you want to expand a little bit on those, though, also feel free.
Yeah, and of course. Yeah, I mean, I like any way that, you can give back. I feel like I can give back through boxing. So that's another reason why I make the YouTube channel. And I'm open, people, I'm on October 29th, I'm doing a boxing class for suicide prevention. All the funds will go towards suicide prevention. I did do a GoFundMe for my previous opponent. Um, it was a good fight, and he suffered. He got knocked down. He got up. He continued the fight. But then after the following round, he couldn't continue. He went to the hospital, and then they had to do emergency surgery. He fell into a coma. So yeah, all those funds that we raise are going to him, towards his family, whatever they need the funds for. Um, and yeah, I mean, again, any way I can help and give back through boxing, I'm down. I'm for it.
Yeah, no, boxing gets that tough man, stereotype of boxing of sports, right? Like you don't see that as much in boxing compared to other bigger sports. So it's good to see charities and stuff like that being held, and a guy like you having good sportsmanship. It's definitely cool to see. So, let's expand just a little bit more. Like, if you could tell me a little about yourself and boxing career, like what inspired you to become a boxing professional boxer.
Yeah, so I mean, growing up, I played every sport. I played soccer, basketball, baseball, karate, everything. So I played every sport. And then I went to go visit family in Mexico, my family from Los Mochis, Sinaloa. And my uncle at the time was a professional boxer. So he took me to the gym, and the gym was old and the gloves were sweaty, and I had to borrow some, and probably full of mold or something. But I don't know. I fell in love with it. I really enjoyed it. I hit the mitts, hitting the heavy bag. So I came back over here. I told my parents I want to join boxing, and then yeah, they signed me up. I started when I was 9, but I want to say I officially started when I was 10. And I had my first amateur fight when I was 11, and then it's been a great road so far.
So what made you want to create the YouTube channel? Because now we're living in a world in boxing where we actually have YouTubers become boxers. I know you do YouTube as just a side thing. I understand that, but what made you want to do that? Just make informational boxing videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know actually. I think a lot of things just I remember going and watching YouTube videos on. I watch boxer highlight videos, and then sometimes I would videos of other instructors would pop up, and I would watch it like, oh look, there's like a Middle Eastern style. Oh, there's a South American style boxing. There's like just different styles of boxing, and I thought it was interesting. Um, so that was one thing, that I would see a bunch of different instructors, and I'm like, oh, cool. I wonder if I have my own style that I can maybe teach other people. Um, but then also, growing up in the gym, I'll have fighters that are younger than me, fighters that are older than me. They would, for some reason, they would always ask me how to do certain things. Oh, how do you throw the jab? Or how do you do this? What do you think I should do? They were always asking me for advice. So I always felt growing up that I was kind of like a mini instructor, I guess you can say, or something that, I don't know. That's the way I saw it. So then yeah, one day I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna make a YouTube channel just for fun. Let's see. And then yeah, I made a YouTube channel. I was very awkward at first, I was all shy in front of the camera. I remember telling my little brother, hey, you want to help me make a YouTube video? So we bought a camcorder from what is that? Best Buy. So it was a little camcorder, no mic, and yeah, we started just recording videos. And just over time, I started getting comfortable in front of the camera and bought a slightly better camera. And then yeah, that's how my boxing, or that's how my YouTube career, I guess you can say, started.
Yeah, yeah. I was with the same thing. I started my channel like just doing gaming videos and like vlogs, and then I started picking up boxing. And same thing what you did. You're watching other people make boxing videos, and I was like, I feel like I have something I could bring to the table. I started doing boxing equipment reviews. Just reviewing my gloves, shoes, and
Yeah.
all. That actually was pretty successful because when before people buy stuff, they like to go on YouTube, do some research on it, see how other people do it. And then I just started doing some interviews. I like to interview guys coming up. I just interviewed an amateur boxer last week, pretty successful. I interviewed Austin Brooks. He's up and coming professional boxer. So, I'm just doing that. So I think it's good. There's a lot of opportunities for
Oh,
YouTube
absolutely.
and
And you
boxing.
can take it, yeah, and you can take it however you want,
Mm.
And that's the thing about, I think that's great about YouTube, where you can do whatever you want, you know what I
Right.
mean? It's about whatever type of content that you want to create, it's up to you. If you want to completely switch it up and make different type of content, that's 100% okay. And then sometimes you have videos that really pop up and you
Mm.
start having all those comments, people are like, oh, make more of these, make more of these, and then that becomes your niche or something. So yeah,
Exactly.
YouTube is a great. I think YouTube is a great. I think everyone should. Everyone has something to give to the table.
Right.
Everyone has something they can share to the world. Yeah, I encourage. I think everyone should do something in YouTube, or put some sort of social media content out there for sure.
I definitely agree. So, what are some things outside of YouTube and boxing that you do? What are some other hobbies? It seems like you're also a coach. Is boxing what you do full time, or like what else do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm boxing, I'm training every day. So I treat it like there's only so much you can do physically, right?
Mhm.
Before your body starts getting tired and broken down. So I would say I'm a full-time professional boxer. Um, and then I also coach on the side. I used to coach a little bit more, like I used to coach 4 to 5 days a week, but now I scaled it down to only 2 times a week. Um, and that's because I went back to school. So I'm going to school too. So I'm going to school, coaching, I'm doing professional boxing. And then by doing all that, my YouTube has kind of taken a hit a little bit. I used to post once a week, but now it's my last post was probably after my last fight, more like two months ago, maybe give or take. So yeah, I mean, other hobbies, just coaching, school, and boxing. And if I have time, I'll make a YouTube video. Other than that, I mean, that takes up most of my day.
Yeah, so I'm also a college student trying to balance that stuff too. I'm actually a sports media major, so that fits perfect
Yeah,
with what I'm doing now. So, but yeah, I'm trying to balance that and amateur boxing too. So obviously, I don't have as much training as you compared to professional, but it's definitely a grind. You got to make time for it.
yeah, absolutely.
So you had your last fight back in July. I just want to know, what's next for you, and then also what are some long-term goals for you in the sport of boxing?
Yeah, so yeah, my last fight was in July. I want to, just stay active. Right now, I was signed to Thompson Boxing Promotion. So that was my last promotion that I was signed to. Right now, I'm kind of in a gray area, I guess you can say, because Thompson Boxing closed down. Um, so now I'm a little bit in a gray area, but I'm my goal, immediate future, is to get a fight, at least one more fight by the end of the year. And I stay at the gym, I stay ready. So yeah, my immediate goal is to get a fight at the end of the year. And I mean, I'm committed. I'm fully committed to boxing. So I train hard. I see myself as a smart fighter. I don't take punishment. I don't get into wars when I'm in sparring. Like I don't see the use of that. Um, so I'm pretty healthy. So my long term goal with boxing is I'll strive for a world title. Strive for a world title. And if I feel like if I do everything I'm supposed to do, and if I stay disciplined, then it's not really it's a goal instead of a dream. When I was younger, it was more of a dream. Now I feel like that's just the goal. Um, a very tough goal, you know what I mean? There's a lot of great talent out there. But that's something that I'm striving for, you know, strive for a world title. And yeah, hopefully I get the opportunity, and when I do, I'll be ready for it.
So remind me, I was looking at your boxing rec. It said super featherweight and lightweight. Is that the correct weight classes? And if so, are you looking to stay like what weight classes are you looking to bump up to if you know that's possible in the future?
Yeah, so I am super featherweight or junior lightweight. So depending on the organization, it means the same thing. So that's 130 pounds. I started my career at 135 pounds. So I started at lightweight. Um, and then I went down to 130 and I feel good. I feel strong at 130. Um, but yeah, I mean, my goal is to shoot for a title at 130 pounds, and then once I get that opportunity, whatever happens after, maybe I move up, then I'll move up. But right now, I feel strong. I feel comfortable making 130 pounds. So I think I'm for now I'm staying at the super featherweight division.
So like tell me just like a typical day that looks for you like both in camp and then outside of camp. So it seems like you're outside of camp right now. You know, what is a day of training looking like or anything else and then compare to in camp?
Yeah, so actually the training doesn't change too much when I'm outside of camp versus when I'm in camp. The only thing that changes when I'm in camp is that we develop more specific strategies and specific game plan. When we're outside of training camp, we try to get better at we try to get better at a lot of different things. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
we get better at a lot of different things, and when we're in training camp, we try to focus on a specific goal, a specific task. Like let's say we study our opponent and let's say the opponent makes this mistake, that mistake. So we develop a game plan to defeat that or to take advantage of those mistakes, right? So as far as the training stays the same, you know, typical training week, and it changes every semester. You know how it is. It
Mhm.
changes semester. Depends on the schedule of schooling too, you
Right.
know. Um, but a typical day, and they're very similar. Typical day, I'll go, the first thing I'll do, well, now before I would be running in the morning and then go boxing, but now since of schooling, I do the boxing first. So I have boxing, and then I'll have two workouts a day, either when I'm in training camp or outside of training camp. And that second workout will depend if I have a run or a strength and conditioning session. So it's boxing, and then the second workout, run, strength conditioning, and it just depends on what day it falls on. I'll do either one of those for the
And then
second workout.
so for running, are you running for miles? You mixing it up with sprints? You know, what's like what are you doing for running?
Yeah, so running right now, I'm only running 4 days a week.
Mhm.
So I'm running 4 days a week. Two of those days are easy. I guess you could say more of time. So anywhere from like 25 to 30 minutes. And then one of those days is more sprints, so more fast pace. It'll be intervals or yeah, pretty much sprints. And then the fourth day is more of a long run. So it's more of a not that slow, not too fast, more of a, I guess you can say, kind of marathon pace. If I were to run a marathon, it'll be around that pace. And then I'll do whatever long run I have scheduled. So it can be anywhere from anything over like 6, 8, anything above that miles.
So I just a couple more questions. I asked this to every boxer I talked to, because I myself I'm looking to get my first amateur fight this year. Just how do you handle the nerves before a fight? That's a big thing that's affecting me. I don't even have a fight lined up yet, but I still get nervous just thinking about it. You know, how do you handle that as a boxer?
Yeah, I mean, I think that just one thing to one thing to handle the nerves is try not to fight them. So that actually this is a good one. Try not to fight your nerves. Accept that you feel nervous, accept that you feel scared, because by you accepting it, then you can kind of figure out you can find you don't lie to yourself, if that makes sense. Because one mistake I used to do is I used to be really nervous before a fight, and I would tell myself, "Oh, you're not scared. You're this tough guy. You're not scared. You're not scared." And really, I'm just battling two demons instead of just that one. You know what I mean? So I think the first thing you should do is be like, okay, I'm nervous. Okay, that's fine. It's normal to be nervous. If you feel nervous, I promise you, your opponent feels just as nervous as you. You know what I mean? Just as nervous as you. Um, Once the bell rings, then most of those nerves just go away. You know, now it just becomes something you practice at the gym, all the sparring sessions, everything comes out once that bell rings. So normally just before it's all the built up that you get all nervous, but then once the bell rings, most of the time it just goes away. Because you're not gonna go into that second or third round nervous. You know, the only reason you would go in there nervous is maybe you get caught or you get dropped and you know, maybe you're fearful of your opponent. But for the most part, no, all those nerves will go away.
So the last question I just wanted to ask was, if you were to go back in time, you're starting your professional boxing career, just what is one thing that you would, you would change about it?
If I were to,
If there is anything.
if I were to go back to my amateur or back to my
Just like, you're starting your boxing journey, right? Whether it's amateur or professional, if there's just one thing that you could change, for the better, or one thing that you could tell yourself to learn off, what would that be?
um I think focus more on nutrition early on.
Mhm.
So get educated on nutrition. That's the only thing I feel like I would change different because when I was younger, I always trained hard and I'd always seek improvement. And I think that carried me a long way. But the only thing I didn't care about nutrition when I was younger. You know, I'd just be like, all right, cool, I got to lose weight before this amateur fight. Sure, let me drop. Instead of really, focusing and having a good relationship with food my whole all year round, not just a specific time. So I would say uh, if I were to go back, educate yourself on nutrition because that's important.
Well, George, I appreciate you doing this. Make sure people watching, I'll have his YouTube and Instagram in the description. I wish you the best of luck, but once again, I appreciate you doing this, and I'll be looking forward to the rest of your career.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me, and this was great.